Have you ever heard an idea that's so backward it's brilliant? Well, today we're diving into one of those. It's this wild concept that the very thing that hurts us, that wounds us, actually holds this secret to our own healing. It's an idea you see pop up in myths, in medicine, even in spirituality, and honestly, it might just change the way you look at your own struggles.
It all kind of kicks off with this really cryptic line from an ancient Greek oracle. That which wounded you shall heal you. I mean, at first, it sounds like a complete riddle, right? An impossibility. But this one phrase, it's like a key that unlocks a pattern you start to see woven through some of humanity's oldest and deepest stories. So what on earth does it actually mean?
To really get our heads around it, we have to start with a story, a really powerful one from Greek mythology. It's a story about a king, a legendary warrior, and a wound that just would not close.
Okay, so imagine this. King Telephos gets wounded in battle by the one and only Achilles. And this is no paper cut. The wound festers, it refuses to heal, it defies every single remedy they throw at it. So, in total desperation, he goes to an oracle who gives him this completely impossible-sounding answer. You have to find the exact spear that hurt you, the instrument of your pain. That's going to have to be the source of your recovery.
Now, this whole idea actually has a formal name. It's a Latin phrase, similia similibus curentur, which basically means like cures like. It's the core principle behind homeopathy. But as we're about to see, this logic, it goes way beyond just medicine. It kind of suggests there's this cosmic law where the solution is secretly hidden right inside the problem.
So, let's jump from a Greek myth to a totally different context, a life or death crisis in the Old Testament. The setting is completely different, but you're going to see the same strange pattern show up all over again.
So here's the story. The Israelites are out wandering in the desert, and all of a sudden they're attacked by these venomous snakes, described as fiery serpents. People are getting bitten, they're dying, it's a terrifying plague. They need a cure, and they need it fast. But the solution they're given, it is anything but typical.
Yeah, instead of some kind of magic herb or a protective prayer, Moses is told to make a bronze serpent, an image of the very thing that's killing them, and lift it high up on a pole. I mean, just stop and think about the psychological horror of that for a second. To be saved from the poison, you have to literally force yourself to look directly at a statue of your greatest fear. It's like an ancient form of exposure therapy.
And this is where the pattern just becomes undeniable. Let's look at them side by side. On the left, with the spear, a bronze weapon pierces the flesh, and rust from that same bronze spear is the cure. On the right, with the serpent, a snake bite is the wound, and looking at a bronze replica of the snake is the cure. See? In both stories, the cure is a redeemed, transformed version of the poison. This is not a coincidence, it's an archetype. A blueprint showing up again and again.
Now we're going to see how this pattern builds to its absolute climax in the teachings of Christ, where this whole principle gets taken from a physical cure to a cosmic one. And the connection isn't something we have to guess at, it's made totally explicit. In the Gospel of John, Jesus himself brings up that desert story. He directly compares what's going to happen to him to that bronze serpent. He's basically saying, hey, remember that story? I'm going to have to be lifted up too, on a cross, so that by looking at what's happening, people can be healed from a different kind of poison. He explained this whole idea using these really powerful analogies like the grain of wheat. Think about it. A seed, all by itself, it's just a seed. It's got potential, but it's stagnant. For it to become what it's truly meant to be, it has to go through what looks like a total catastrophe. It gets buried, it's put under pressure, and its protective outer shell, its whole identity, has to crack open and pretty much die. And it's only then that new life can come out of it. And here's the powerful reframe, the big takeaway from that analogy. We aren't being buried, we are being planted. You know those moments in life that feel like a definite ending? Losing a job, a relationship breaking down, a huge failure? Maybe those moments are actually the necessary breaking of the shell that has to happen before any new growth can start. Psychologists even have a name for it, post-traumatic growth. Okay, so this is all a bit abstract and cosmic. Let's bring it right down to earth to a really personal human experience. The Apostle Paul gives us one of the clearest case studies of how to live with a wound that actually becomes a source of strength. So Paul talks about having this thorn in the flesh. We don't know for sure what it was, a chronic illness, some kind of reoccurring trial, but whatever it was, it tormented him.
And he did what any of us would do. He prayed over and over again, "Please just take this away. I just want the hurt to be gone."
But the answer he got, wow, it turned his whole world upside down. He was told, "My power is made perfect in weakness." This just nails the whole idea we've been talking about. The weakness, the thorn, the wound itself, it wasn't an obstacle to power. It was the very place, the only place, where that power could show up perfectly.
And this leads us to one of the most stunning details in the entire New Testament. When Christ is resurrected, he doesn't come back with this perfect, flawless body. He still has his scars. Why? Because the point isn't to erase the hurt. It's to integrate it. The scars become his credentials. They're the proof that he's been through the wound and come out the other side, which is what makes him a healer.
So what does all this mean for you and me? I mean, this ancient wisdom is pretty profound. But how do we actually apply it to the stuff we face in our modern lives? Okay, so first, instead of running away from the serpent, we can actually turn around and ask what our hurt is trying to teach us. This isn't about wallowing, it's about being courageously curious. Second, we can practice beholding our pain, really looking at it with calm attention instead of just trying to numb it. That lets us process it instead of just shoving it down. Third, we can start to notice where life is asking our seed shell, our ego, our fixed ideas about who we are, to crack a little. And finally, and this one is huge, we can start to see our own scars not as signs of damage, but as the very thing that qualifies us to help other people. That's the heart of transforming suffering into wisdom.
So when you boil it all down, this whole thing points to a pretty radical shift in how we see things. The goal isn't to get through life without any wounds. The goal is to redeem the wounds we inevitably get, to let them be transformed from marks of failure into symbols of hope and resilience.
And so that leaves us with one final, really provocative question to carry with us. I want you to think about the biggest challenge in your life right now, the thing that feels like a wound that just won't close. And just for a moment, consider this. What if the spear that wounded you is the only thing that can heal you?